Okay, here we are. I hope the mic is fine. I tried to boost it a bit. It was kind of low on the latest live streams, which incidentally was a little bit, a little while ago. So yeah, that's the camera. Welcome to another little Bow Beats live stream here on YouTube. And yeah, I'm just gonna make sure that I have everything muted here in the background. And as you probably can see in the chat, if you're here live, we actually have something cool that I wanted to tease today. And that is the merch store. So if you're here live, you're the first to see the merch store that I'm doing in collaboration with Stig Holmes, who I have had on and collaborated with on different videos. So we are going to take a little look at the different Bow Beats merch, but we're also going to talk synths. You can answer any questions I have. You can ask questions about synths, music productions, creativity, and whatever you feel like, and just kind of hang out, have a sip of the coffee, and hopefully enjoy yourself this chill Friday. So yeah, so welcome here, everybody. Sanjay C, good seeing you, mate. Good seeing you, and good job on your channel, mate. Sanjay C has a very nice channel on YouTube as well. G is here as well. He also has a very nice channel on YouTube, and some other people here. VM Sky, John Johnson is here as well, and Lee Huddleston is here. Lee did a lot of work on the Isotope editor, if I'm not mistaken. Jack Daw is here. William Jacob's music is here, and I'm just gonna subtly post the Bow Beats merch link. No pressure. So hello everybody, and yeah, let's do the intro. So welcome to a little rare Bow Beats live stream. I've been kind of slacking on the live streaming department, and let me know if the mic audio is fine. I tried to boost it a bit because I noticed that it was quiet on previous streams. And I'm trying out also one of my older webcams that I used with the PC setup. I thought about bringing more patrons on for live chats and stuff, but I don't have that set up. I'm thinking about running like a separate streaming PC, but every time I'm thinking about complicating my setup, it just ends up with me being less interested in live streaming. So I got myself a little Americano here today. And I hope you are doing fine. Local Technique is here. Good seeing you, mate. Jack Daw. The Moog is here, or the Moog, depending on where you're from. Lucky One. Duncan is here. Hans is here as well. John, good seeing you, mate. Long time no see. Oscillator Sync. Not that long time no see. Good seeing you around as always. Kark Chan is here. Jacob is here. Yeah. Look at those synths. Yeah, got some synths here in the background for sure. Thanks. Great that it sounds fine. So basically, I still haven't tested my setup through and through, but yeah, it seems like it works. So, what are we supposed to be talking about today? I'm not too sure. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that has come out. It's a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I thought to see if you had any questions that you want me to address here on the stream. Otherwise, it'll just be me like drinking coffee, slurping, rambling, promoting my merch, and yeah, for 2 hours or something. Kark says, I'm watching synth videos with my wife. Well, that's a good hobby. I think that's a better hobby to have with your wife than many other possible hobbies. So that's cool. Dad jokes and synthesizers. Yeah, for sure. Dad jokes and synthesizers for about 2 hours. That's the Bow Beats show. Talk about the new exciting new keyboards and synths. Yeah, so you guys probably saw, I can disconnect it. You probably saw the video today. that I put out with the M32. I've been testing it out. If you want an even more thorough review of it, I know Sanjay Z had a really nice video on it as well. I felt, to be honest, like I've done the A25 review or unboxing video I did, and I did videos on their other larger keyboards, and it's very much the same kind of products, just smaller keys. So yeah, I felt like I kind of sometimes you get a little bit bored with yourself when you're doing these videos so much as I'm doing them, because you kind of repeat yourself and you feel like you've said things 100 times. So that's Sanjay C asks, what was your first synth? If you'd asked me that like a month or so ago, I would have said you're not getting the answer, because that was a part of the giveaway questions I did. I hope you entered, Sanjay, by the way, for the quiz for my giveaway. So it could probably be a good idea just to say here also, let me just bring it up. The giveaway, let me get to your question, Sanjay. But the giveaway I did, the big synth giveaway, it wasn't, there's always like at least one dude who's like, this is fake. And it's always, of course there are fake giveaways on YouTube, but it's like in our small community, you'd have to be really daft, like real stupid, to do like a fake giveaway. Because it would hurt you so much and you'd gain almost nothing. Like I didn't gain a lot by doing a giveaway. So yeah, the giveaway is over and we picked the winners, and let me just bring it up here. Where is it? Let me bring it up here. Can I? Okay. Let me just do like this. Yeah. So, talking about the giveaway, let me just go full screen here. Okay. So you can see, I made a post over at facebook.com/BowBeatsMusic. Winners of the giveaway, we had the PO33 that I'm giving away to Marcus Kaiser, I think he's in Germany. Monotron Delay to Philip Andersson. Retro Kits RK002 to Sackler, and Arturia Analog Lab 3 went to Alex Van Luvender. By the way, Alex, check your damn email. I want to give this to you. Ivano, Johnny also got the Analog Lab 3. We had the filter bundle from Moy, Anthony Persak and Dion, and the Hosa cable bundle of awesomeness provided by Hosa to Tobias Domes and Richard Laux and Forrester Music, which was real cool. All of these were people who got like all right on the quiz. We sorted it by everybody who got like full scores on the quiz. That was kind of the first way we did it. And also Isotope 8 here, or Neutron, went to Ivan Kinel, J-Car, Murashibu. And the Gecko Loop Synths went to Mr. Basic, Shift Tides, Andrew Truscott. And Racket Drum Synths went to Dope Drone, and Racket's Metal Synth went to Sexy Ninja Monkey, which is also the coolest name ever. And Flo Hohen and yeah. So, and almost all of these stuff, except the stuff I'm sending out, has gone out to the respective, the respective winners. So that's cool. The first synth I ever owned, which was one of the questions, was the RM1X synthesizer or Groovebox, and the second one was DX100. But we didn't have the DX100 on the. You couldn't pick it as a quiz answer, because that would have been a little bit like a trick question, because then it's like, is a Groovebox a synth, or so we didn't want to fool anybody with that. So yeah, my first synth was the RM1X from Yamaha. That's cool. Yeah, Gecko Loop Synth is in the chat. Hello Mario, I guess it's you or somebody else from Gecko. Gecko Loop Synth's been super helpful with the giveaway. They sponsored the giveaway with 3 geckos. lovely little synth. They have a lot of different things coming out now. I think the Whale is their. I think they got funding over Kickstarter on the Whale, which seems like a really cool instrument as well. Let me just see if I can bring it up. Whale, the Whale. Yeah, let's see here. Yes, I don't have any audio for this because Mac is stupid. But yeah, so the people behind the Gecko Loop synth have Glow, the polyphonic whale, which is a synth. So it has microphones on it, I suppose, and it takes that audio and transforms it internally. So you can use it to sort of sample nature, which I think is very cool. So Glow, the polyphonic whale. I think that's very cool. And I also saw Soma Laboratory were coming out with something similar, or not exactly. It's not the same because the one that Soma is doing doesn't have. It doesn't have the same mics. It's picking up like electricity frequencies all around us, and it's it transforms that into sounds, basically electrical waves, I suppose. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Let's see here. Oscillator Sync, he wonders, what's Bob eating today? Today's just a little sip of the coffee. And if you hear like screams and angry children in the background, that's my family, since my studio is located where I live and they're at home on Fridays. So yeah. So if you are here now and you didn't see me post about it, we just launched the merge store. So let me just show you this, guys, because I thought this was kind of cool. So I've done a collaboration with Steve Holmes. He does some really cool synth art. And if you go to bit.ly//BowBeatsMerch, this is what you'll be greeted with. So we did a couple of different designs together. He's the one that's done like the actual design work, and I came up with a couple of the ideas. And let's see here. So I think this is probably my favorite one. The Bob Eats one. I don't know. It's just, yeah. I just think it's kind of funny. It's a funny graphic. I have it down here as well. Yeah, the Bob Eats graphic. I guess it's the funny memes. And then of course we have the obligatory T-shirt here with make music, buy synths. I thought that was kind of funny. And the whole like eating a synth, like it's clearly Steve's graphics, but this was my idea to have it like a little chunk of the synth has been eaten up. And then we have like the standard Bow Beats T-shirt here with a little sip of the coffee. And we have the Eurorack one that you probably know from, you probably know it from my intro to my Eurorack series. So it's the same kind of graphic. And then we have this one as well. Which would look kind of rad in red, I think. Blue? Yeah, maybe blue. I think red. So, so it's probably good to know, like, it's really cool because Steve is such a talented creative and designer, and he has a lot of cool stuff in his store. So the idea is that we will be teaming up for the merch. And that way, when you guys, if you pick something up, you'll be not only supporting my project here on YouTube, but you'll be supporting Steve as well. And I thought that was important. I could have gone with like spreadshirts or designed by humans, which are, you know, good options as well. But I did want to, I'd rather collaborate with a real person that I can talk to and that has a vested interest in the scene just like we do, and who is doing interesting stuff around synths, and Steve has done a lot of like cool synth graphics and stuff like that, so I felt that was really cool. Yeah, so no synth mugs yet, but yeah. So let's see here. I'm just gonna catch up a bit. So that was kind of the sellout spiel with my merch store. The link is in the description as well. I'm just gonna say it. Don't make Steve unhappy that he teamed up with me. Dual Tracks is here as well. What's up, mate? Tony Duncan, good seeing you, Tony. Long time no see. And JT Hunter is here as well. JT, big supporter, has helped me out a ton. Thank you for stopping by. And yeah. So let's see here. Evan Johnson asks, any new modules that are interesting to you? What is your gas pointing you towards? When it comes to modules, do you have anything? I'm thinking here if there's anything like that I've seen that I'm interested in getting, or that I think it would be cool to have. At some point I do need to try out some more of the mutable instruments stuff, plates maybe. And I probably should try something like the Q Pass from Make Noise, just because. Oh yeah. I talked to Befaco about checking out, what's the name? Burst, I think. Befaco Burst. I thought that one was interesting. Let me see here. Yeah, Befaco Burst. Let me show you. So it's kind of like I'm drawn to these kind of. They're not very, how do you say? They're not very sexy modules, maybe. The Burst. So the Burst is a pingable trigger burst generator with distribution probability and time division control. It will create multiplications of your triggers, leading to doubles, triplets, quintuplets, and true polyrhythms for your modular system. I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I'm not sure what I would do with it. I just thought that was kind of cool to have. Yeah, it's something that you don't really see like on a traditional synth that much. At least not that I have thought about or seen a lot of. So I thought it was kind of cool. So that's something that I'm looking forward to trying out whenever. Other than that, it's not that I. Let me see, where is OBS? Yeah. So that's kind of cool. Arcelon is here as well. He says, "How is it?" in Swedish, and it's going good. Did it just get darker in here? Give me a second. I'm just gonna flick on the light here. See if I can bring up the light levels, because I do have my I do have a lamp here, so that's kind of cool. See if it can help. Context, good seeing you, mates. So I'm just gonna scroll up and see what's Sonic Neutronic said, "Nice, just came downstairs with my tea and saw this had started with an hour to chill." That's awesome. Good seeing you, mate. Let me just see here. So Tartan Ninja has an interesting question here. He says, would you still buy an analog keys? I'm tempted, but can never quite understand how you get around the 4 voices if you want to do some kind of lush pad type things using the keys. So Electron units, except for the Digitone is probably like the best for pad sounds of all the Electron units. But the analog, I wouldn't like go all out and say that analog keys is like a very strong contender for a good pad synth. I would say something like the Peak from Novation is probably a lot better for pads, to be honest. You can do it on the analog keys, but yeah, it's just not its strongest suit, I'd say. I think there's just better synths out there for pads in particular, but for pretty much everything else, you could do it. You can, of course, do it, but it's not like it's not built particularly well to do those sort of like lush pad soundscapes. Like for polyphony is a little bit limiting in that regard. But it's an amazing synth. I had it a while back, and now I sort of missed it. But yeah, it took up a lot of space. Let me just scroll up and see if I missed something. Yeah, so if you're just joining in, just hanging out, kind of having a chill Friday here with you guys, I wanted to kind of try and live stream a bit more, see if there were questions that you wanted me to answer, and just hang out. And today, I'm sort of tired today. It's been kind of a long week, to be honest. Working hard on the Electron model sample stuff, the latest video with the M32, and also launching the merch and doing some other stuff. Working on a big FM tutorial, just kind of a beginner introduction to FM. Working on it, hope to release it like next week or the week after, and doing some other video work, and also going to a secret event real soon. I posted about it on Facebook. It'll be an event, I can't speak about it too much right now, but it'll be an event in March where I will have the chance to check out a lot of gear. So over on Facebook, I asked like what kind of gear you would want me to actually check out. Like the sky's the limit. What would be exciting to see, given the stuff that I already have checked out here on the channel and stuff I have here in the studio. So I had some cool suggestions. So if you want to leave some suggestions, there's a link in the description to my Facebook, and you can go there and just kind of, hang out and answer the post I made. Yeah, like Dual Track says, go for Minilogue. It's better. Yeah, I think like the Minilogue XD is probably will probably be one of the like. I mean, the Minilogue is nice, but the XD seems just slightly better in every regard, and I think that will be like a go-to pick, like Minilogue XD or maybe DeepMind 12. Would probably be something that you could have like a sort of entry level or synth for pads, and yeah, because it's so nicely priced. Yeah, Peak is also more expensive for sure, but it's growing on me a lot. We'll probably make a video with the Peak at some point. And I've said it multiple times on stream, when it came out, it was kind of something I was lukewarm about. I didn't really enjoy the Peak that much, like that, because I was so focused on like the technical aspects of it, and I was so into like analog, so and the conversations around it kind of made me feel lukewarm about it. But as soon as I just sat down and started playing it, it's a totally different feeling. It has a lot of character. It's a very deep synth, and since the signal path is not only digital but also analog, with the overdrive and distortion, it just sounds really good. Swedish Toast Mafia. Somebody called me, Red Means Recording called me Swedish Latte Mafia. Yeah, I'm from southern Sweden. Originally from Stockholm though. Tony says the DeepMind is brilliant. Yeah, the DeepMind would be like a synth that I could see myself trying out for sure. When I'm in Stockholm, or sorry, not in Stockholm. The event is not in Stockholm, but when I'm at the event. Let me just see here. I'm not particularly liking the light. Let me see what happens if I turn it down. Yeah, I'll turn it down like this. 808 Man asked, what's my favorite drum machine? That's the Analog Rhythm Mark II because of its versatility. And if I were to pick like a really budget one, it would be the Impact from Arturia. What do you think about hybrid synths? Like hybrid how? 808 Man. You mean like analog and digital hybrids? Yeah, it's too much light from the window, Dual. Yeah. It's my shitty ass webcams. Regarding coffee, what's my favorite brand and technique? Yeah, I do like a local dark roast, and I do V60 from Hario. It's like a small kettle, glass kettle, and then you have like a drip filter thing, and a little gooseneck kettle, very hipster. Henry asks, yo, did you check out the OP set at all? No. I was talking to like Teenage Engineering about checking it out, but we never got around to doing anything around it. And then it sort of launched, and everybody else was doing content, and I just felt I don't have the time. It's a really interesting synth though. But yeah, maybe it's something I could do for like the summers when I'm going traveling. Maybe I could pick one up then and do some content like doing music on the fly. But then again, I have, of course, this little one. Yeah. Then I have the model sample, which I do want to bring with me on the go a lot. Especially if they do release this little, there's a hatch here that you can open. And if they do bring out some kind of smart battery solution for it, it could definitely be something I bring with me. Like it's much more limited than something like the OP-Z, but it's still, yeah, I think it could be a lot of fun to bring with me, for sure. Yeah, okay, so we have a good segment, a good question here. So Jonas asks, what do you think about the price increase on the OP1? Okay, guys, so I want to hear from you guys. So seriously, what do you think? Like, what do you think about the price increase of the OP1? How are you feeling about it? Like, give me what you're thinking, and I'll give you my sort of rundown, okay? So OP1 price increase. That's a good question. It's an interesting topic. Let's do it. Dual Track says the price increase is a joke. Robo says I have no money. Local Technique says it's not the first time they bumped up the price, but it wasn't as big as this one. Tom says abused price. Dual Track says wasn't a big fan of the OP1, was already overpriced to be fair. Robo Globe said I couldn't buy it. So you couldn't buy it because you didn't have any money or because it had a price increase. Cellrock says, I found it expensive before, now it's just ridiculous, never gonna buy it. Andrew Pierce says, I think the OP1 price increase is fine. It's a shame that they had to do it, but supply chain issues is a real thing and I can understand TA's perspective. DB Pavlan thinks that it's an overpriced thing, like an Apple product. They know that they have a loyal following. Henry says if people won't buy them, the price will go back down. I think the OP1 is so popular. Yeah. Oscillator says it seems a bit convenient that it lined up with having to retool for the recall modular. Mark Schern says that they could have communicated their explanation a bit better. Context says I always thought that the OP1 has been overpriced. Yeah, we're getting sort of a mix of different opinions here. Okay, so kind of giving my perspective on it. So hold, yeah, no pitchforks. Let's try and avoid the pitchfork. So here's the thing. Firstly, do I think that the OP1 is overpriced? So from my perspective, and I've never used one extensively, so you have to take that into consideration. I never really worked with one. I tried it, but I haven't worked with it. From my perspective, it seems that it was overpriced at 1,000, and now it's even more overpriced at 1,500. However, I saw a really good tweet from Jeremy, Red Means Recording, and he's like an OP1 guy. He's really good with it. And he said it's like invaluable to him. And you could totally see that because he's built up an entire channel around the aesthetics of that tool. And, he's really good with it and it has worked for him. So when we're talking about overpriced, it easily becomes like a very feels and context-based discussion. What does overpriced mean? To give you perspective, I paid about $4,000 for my computer. Okay, that's a lot of money. Money I didn't really have because I'm not making a lot of money doing this. But I wanted something which was stable, which didn't mean that I had to relearn a ton of things, and that was, stable, convenient, all-in-all solution, but also quiet. Was the $4,000 investment good or bad? Well, looking at the output increase that I could do in relationship to having this particular tool, and the fact that, on the rare occasions that something happened, say with electricity in my house and the power went out and the computer just died mid something, the sheer security that my Final Cut projects, they didn't corrupt, nothing was broken, everything worked, made it work. I mean, I can say that it's definitely been like a worthwhile investment. Could I have saved money and done some other solution? Probably. But could I personally, realistically, with my limited experiences with building like a Hackintosh and stuff like that, could I have done it? No, I couldn't. And I would have lost so much time and energy just being frustrated with the tools with the tools instead of being creative. Another example would be my cameras. I have two Canon M50s. These are like entry-level mirrorless cameras. These are not expensive cameras. These are like 500 euros or dollars or whatever for the body. They have 4K. I can definitely recommend them. And when I bought my first one, I just did a slight upgrade from my 700D because this was actually doing everything that I wanted, except it had crappy autofocus. So this one had the better autofocus, so I got it. I could have spent like triple the money, but realistically, with my skill level and with what I'm doing, I couldn't see myself like getting more out of it. So when I bought a second M50, it's sitting over there, I just reflected on it like, okay, what do I want? Well, I want to be creative. I want to produce. I want to get stuff done. So what do I need? So I thought, okay, should I buy like the mirrorless Canon for like $2,000, the EOS R or whatever, the mirrorless one? Like it wouldn't really have changed much for me personally. I can totally see why it's important for some to have more like a Sony A3 or whatever. But for me, it was just like, yeah, I'll just buy another one because it does everything I want. It's perfectly fine quality for what I do. I still haven't learned them very well. And there's, plenty of headroom. So what I'm saying is that when we talk about like the value of something, it's very context-based, it's very feels-based. It's very hard to talk about objective values. Some people try and argue with me like, oh, the model sample, it's so expensive. Like, what? It's like 500 euros or something. And I mean, the TR8S is like 700 or something. And they're pretty similar in what they can do. So yeah, and the drum brute is like 450. I mean, these arguments becomes very, to me, very muddy and weird. So that being said, like, do I find it overpriced? Yes, the OP1. Overpriced. However, I haven't used it, so I have no relationship to it. So if I used it and it would have been a super important part of my workflow, then of course I might have said, yeah, it's definitely not overpriced. Or if I used it and I thought it was the biggest pile of rubbish or crap, I would probably say like it's overpriced. It's one of those products that kind of triggers us a bit because it's niche, it's special, it's a little bit unique, and it's sort of, yeah. That being said, we had a couple of different perspectives that I want to bring up that some of you guys wrote. I'm just going to see here. So I think it was, let's see here. So I don't personally think and subscribe to any of the like conspiracy theories that Teenage Engineering, the conspiracy would be something like this. Teenage Engineering needs money. How will they raise the money? Well, let's just increase the price of one of their flagship products or one of their most known products. Now, that could of course be true, like we don't know, but it just seems a little bit weird considering that they're selling the POs, they're probably selling very well. They have the new modular coming out, but then of course, okay, so the modular gets retracted. Or how do you say? Yeah, they take back the modular because there are some issues with them. And of course, this will cost them money. But this is a company, so I have a very hard time thinking that they launched the modular series and then when they find out about the problems with the modulars and recall them, they increase the price of the OP1. This just seems a little bit weird for a company to do that kind of quick adjustments on the fly. Like maybe it played into it, but it seems kind of conspiratorial to me. Because normally these companies do not make quick decisions generally. It takes time. So it's kind of nonsensical for a company to like just do like this. But I can totally see why people might assume these things because we're coming to one of the points that you guys made that I strongly agree with. And I think that Teenage Engineering could have communicated all of this a lot better. First, they say nobody should pay $1,500 for OP1 or something like that. They make a joke about it, like, haha, okay, funny. And then secondly, they mess up their modular release because they had to do the recalls or whatever it's called in English. They had to cancel the pre-orders. Then they increased the price of the OP1, and from what I've heard, and I haven't seen any source on this, but I assume it's true, they also canceled pre-orders. So people having having pre-orders at the original price are now paying the new price if they want to pre-order. So they canceled pre-orders for the OP1 at like $1,000, and now people have to pre-order it or order it at $1,500. So, anybody can see that this is sort of a communications nightmare, and I don't really know why they did it like that. It seems very weird to me. Yeah. But I think, I strongly think, and I actually have no like real affiliation with Teenage Engineering, regardless of what people might think. They sent me a couple of pocket operators, and I've tested them out and done a couple of videos, but I have like no real affiliation with them whatsoever. And I think actually that their PR statement about why they wanted or needed to do a price increase actually makes a lot of sense, because you have a really old synth built up, at least from talking to friends that are more knowledgeable of the technical aspects of the OP1. It's built out of pretty expensive materials compared to something like the OPZ. It's an old design, which means that parts that might have been cheaper in the past could now actually be more expensive. I don't know, but it sort of makes sense that, yeah, it could become more expensive. Now, how much of a price increase it warrants. I don't know. I don't know those sort of things, but it does make sense to me, at least, that it could be definitely due to I think it was Mark who pointed out that it's a kind of a supply chain problem. And to me, that sort of makes sense. That's sort of where I stand. And this brings us to, sorry for rambling on, I will read the chat in a minute. And if you want to click something while I'm rambling, you can go to the description of this video and you can check the merch store, the BowBeats merch store. Woo! Let me just post it. Shameless self-promotion. The BowBeats merch is out. Woo! And I will dramatically increase the prices tomorrow to $150,000 per t-shirt, just to cover the costs. No, no. But speaking about prices, so it's one thing that I often see people miss in this globalized world is also that a company like Behringer, for example, who has a lot of their production in China, and they do very large quantities, and they're a very big company, isn't comparable to a company like Teenage Engineering. It's a pretty small company. Or it's a really small company. Arturia. Some people make it out like Arturia is like the McDonald's or something. It's like, it's a very small company. They sent me a Christmas card. All of their employees fit in one photo. Like it's a small photo. It's like, hello, Bo. It's like, it's a small company. By all measures. Like, and the same goes for Electron and these companies. And what I totally get if you don't want to pay the price for one of their products. Like, I'm with you. I often don't recommend certain products because of the price. But if somebody says it shouldn't be this expensive, this makes me think, like, shouldn't be based on what? What kind of metric? Because especially for Teenage Engineering and Electron, these are Swedish-based companies, and Sweden is a pretty expensive country to run a company in. It's not like running it from China. I mean, I'm not saying, well, technically Behringer, they have stuff in China. So yeah, like I'm not an economist, but to me, it's not strange that you will be paying a premium on a product designed where most of the work that goes into making the product is actually in a country that has higher costs for producing that particular product. Like, that's not weird to me at all. So, rant over. That was sort of my take on it. I hope I didn't miss anything. So yeah, I guess, like, to sum it up, I saw somebody make the comparison to Apple. Like, I totally get that Teenage Engineering and Electron and some other companies get the sort of Apple label because they're making very design-focused products and it's kind of exclusive. But Apple is a multi-billion-dollar company. I mean, it's like McDonald's. To me, it's like on the same level as McDonald's or Microsoft or whatever. And we're comparing kind of boutique companies still with these international, like these global entities that have market dominance. And it's really weird. And to me, it's kind of twisted around, like Behringer is like the savior. Sometimes, have you ever thought about this? Like, how people can lift up Behringer as some kind of savior? Like, I get it that cheap stuff is nice. I'm with you. Like, it's nice to have cheap stuff. And I know that a lot of you guys might struggle financially. That's a problem. And I'm all for having inexpensive equipment. But lifting up a company like Behringer, like some kind of savior, at the same time as some people shit on small businesses, I probably would consider Teenage Engineering and Electron pretty small businesses. It's very weird. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense to have those kind of opposing viewpoints. That's my take on it. Oh, and I'm also sorry if your messages aren't showing up in the chat sometimes because I'm testing this sort of filter thingy. So if you use a lot of fuck and stuff like that, it will be filtered. So good seeing everybody. We're doing a little bit of a teasing of the Bow Beats merch store, and I'm going to put it on screen while I just want to read. No, wait, I can't put it on screen. Never mind. I'm just going to read up here on the chat. So dual tracks, I'm not sure. Like, are you suggesting that everything is more expensive due to greed? Because I would argue that yeah, maybe it is partly because of greed to increase winnings, but I also think that we as consumers, we have to. I think especially in the Western world, we have to be real about this. We have to accept higher prices. We've lived in a time where prices go down, 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 down. And now we're sort of wondering why prices are going up in certain areas. And I think it's definitely the case that in certain aspects, especially in computers and stuff like that, we have to acknowledge that unless we're willing to pay more for phones, for example, the standards of living in other parts of the world won't go up. I think that's a very important issue, actually. 424 recording is here. Hello, good seeing you, mate. 424 recording, a patron of mine, and he is also a YouTuber. I think you might have seen he did a podcast with me at one point. Cellrock says, my theory, they are teenage engineering artificially increased the value of old tech by putting production on hold. The used market exploded. Now they come back at a higher price. Like, it's possible. It's possible that it's all like a marketing thing. I have a very hard time believing that, to be honest. It feels... I'm not sure that a synth company would dare to do that, to be honest. Not as such a small company anyway. Like, that's my feel. I could be totally wrong here. Like, I'm not an economist or I don't know much about economy in general. I just have a strong sense that market manipulations of that kind are pretty rare from these kind of companies, to be honest. Joseph says, sending love to all of you from China and sending a special thank you to Bob Eats. You're an inspiration and an institution. Well, thank you so much, Joseph. I'm glad to have you here. And thank you, everybody. We are over 100 people here. Good having you all here. And today we're just having a little chill. Well, it turned out not so chilled when you guys triggered me with the OP1 memes. But yeah. Wait, do I have the OP1 memes? I made a couple of funny memes around OP1. I wonder if I have them. Do I use any external effects pedals? Yeah, I use like a reverb thing. It's over there somewhere. It's a TC Hall of Fame. It's the same one I had for a couple of years now. I haven't really ventured that much into pedals. I should probably, but yeah. PD says, I think people just want TE to be transparent about the price increase of the OP1. Yeah, I think the main issue with the price increase was the communications of it. I think they just messed it up, to be honest. Kraut Music says, hey Bo, I just want to say thank you. You inspired me to set up my live guitar looping synthy thing again and create new music. Well, thank you. Great to have you here, mates. And glad if I've been able to inspire you in some way. I'm just kind of reading up here. Matthias Holmgren is here. Hello, Bo. What's up? Friday coffee? Yeah, got some Friday coffee. I just did a little bit of a rant on the topic of OP1 prices. Yeah. Andrew Pierce says, to be honest, a big part of this, the OP1 price debacle as well, is some people don't understand why products cost X amount. When they don't understand that, they crap on it, when in reality the product just isn't made for them. They're just not the target audience. So the OP1 is a good example, because it was really expensive at the $1,000 mark anyway. It was very expensive. Some people got a lot out of it. It's truly an instrument of its own. Like, I have huge respect for people using it and the instrument itself. But yeah, most people could do a lot better with different tools, for sure. T-Rev says, I'm not bearing a friend, but the Crave is pretty awesome, I think. By the way, other companies should add a MIDI through to their lower budget synths in the future. Yeah, MIDI through on budget synths, for sure. Richard Kraft asks, rant aside, Bo, have you ever messed around with the Ableton Push 2? It's the closest feeling to hardware with a DAW that I've found. No, I'm actually a Machina user. So I have the Machina Mark III, and that is similar in certain ways to Push. And I'm not an Ableton user either, Ableton Live. So I'm trying to learn Ableton, but to be honest, I don't have the time. That's my problem. Mark Shern says, yeah, I don't get the bearing a love. So let me be very clear, because some people have a very weird impression that I'm some kind of synth elitist because I do have expensive synths. I have expensive synths because I have been fortunate to first save up over many years to be able to purchase a few, and then I happened to start a YouTube channel where I had a much easier time getting my hands on flagship synths. So that's pretty much it. I also have a lot of budget stuff. I like my drum brutes, the Impact. I love it a lot. I really like it, even though I have like an analog rhythm. So I really have a huge respect for people not wanting to spend too much money. I have a huge respect for people, their life situations and their economic situations, wherever they are in the world. We live in different culture, different times. I've been poor myself. I wasn't brought up in any kind of wealth. And so I have a huge respect for that. But at the same time, I also see a little bit of a cognitive dissonance going on here. Like a mismatch of ideas and ideals. So a lot of people in the music scene, they want authenticity. They want realness. They want brands they can trust. And along comes Behringer, and they make these really cheap, affordable synths. And that's cool. But at the same time, they're cloning, which is maybe not illegal. I suppose it's not illegal, but they're copying. They're plagiarizing other people's work to some extent. Like, I'm not saying they're stepped over the line, but I'm saying that you have to be able to see that it's a possible problem with plagiarism. And then people react like, yeah, but they're just giving us what we want. But yeah, that's what companies do. That's what companies do to make money. They try to find a need, a market, some kind of market segment, and capitalize on it. That's how companies work. They're not doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They want our money, of course, just like any company. And like I want to sell some merch. Yeah. I should just copy Cuckoo's merch. It's much better. No, but seriously though. So there are problems with Behringer, even though that I can see why people like that it's affordable and so on. I also see problems with the way that the community, if you can say that, are dealing with it. I think that there are reasons to be a little bit skeptical of the idea that cheap is better. Like, cheap is the good. As long as it's cheap, affordable, it's good. Because I think Noir at Blank V put it in one of his videos, like the differences in company cultures between something like Moog or something like Behringer are vast. They're vastly different companies. And I think we've seen good reason to be a little bit distrustful of Behringer. So that's why I find it a little bit funny that for simply increasing the price of a really expensive niche product, Teenage Engineering gets like hardcore called out for it. But Behringer, who are plagiarizing, who are copying others' design ideas, but regardless if it's legal or not, they're doing that. It's very obvious. They're taking something which is popular and they're making like a copy of it because it sells, and they're making it less expensive, which is morally questionable, ethically questionable. And yet you can see the same people defend Behringer but go after OP1, Teenage Engineering OP1. And this I don't get. This is the part I don't understand about this conversation. It confuses me because you of course I don't make sense of to me it's like a very big contradiction. If Teenage Engineering, if what they're doing is problematic because it's some kind of corporate behavior where they want to take your money, how can you be okay with the way Behringer are copying other people's ideas to simply make money, to kind of borderline infringing on other people's copyrights and other people's ideas and other people's designs? Like, I'm not talking necessarily legally, but in some moral aspect of it, definitely. I just find it is a complicated question, to be honest. I find it intellectually very stimulating to think about it. Like, I'm not sitting here I'm trying not to preach. I'm more saying that it's a difficult conversation, and one that I think we should think about. Luke Cage, what's up? What's up? Yeah, so Mark is pointing out some good things here. So just the whole Behringer marketing scheme where they do it like almost like trollish, where they post pictures of the SH-101 when Roland announced the SH-01. Like, it's, yeah. I think if we want to put the blame on, if we want to criticize a company, I always say, in general, where is the money going? Who's making the big money? What's the big dog? Which are the big dogs in the scene? And how are they handling stuff ethically? That would be, yeah. That would be my kind of my challenge, I guess, to everybody. Yeah, maybe G. I mean, they're building a lot of what they're doing on the recognizable designs from Roland. Even the Crave and this. Okay, guys, I'm going to be super honest. Like, I'm not hardcore invested in any of this, but I've seen good arguments why the Crave is actually like to some extent a copy of the Mother 32 design. Now, like, it could just be like a big meme because I'm not that technical, so it's hard for me to kind of evaluate this. But I've seen some other people make the argument pretty convincingly that you can see how they copied a bunch of stuff pretty much straight off. Yeah, sure. Local technique. I totally get that. Behringer are just giving people what Roland want do. Yeah. And that's what makes it a little bit complicated, because I think Roland haven't necessarily been playing this very well. To be honest, I think that Roland could probably have done a better job catering to their audience. Yeah. Yeah, Technobear, exactly. Yeah, sure. So Behringer employs a lot of people. Is that also not good? Yeah, sure. Definitely. That's a good argument. Roland is, of course, too, for sure. I think what I'm trying to say here is, okay, so what I'm trying to say, let me see if I can formulate this. Behringer aren't out to protect your interests. They're not out to help you or serve you in any way more than any company generally. And we have no reason to believe that they're our friends in any way. It's a little bit like banks. People treat banks like it's a service to us, but it's we who lend money to them. They're providing a service to us. We're paying for a service. And in Sweden, for example, for the longest of time, people treated banks like an institution, almost like something that was state-run or something. So I'm just saying that I'm kind of, it's a big reason why I'm not jumping so quickly on the Behringer hype train, for sure. I feel I have a harder time kind of seeing where that leads us, what that does to the scene, and how it might impact other manufacturers. Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, dual tracks for sure. Like, brands are brands, they will always find their own interests, not your interests, for sure. But then again, dual tracks. Different brands have different ethical standards. Different brands have different histories and different ideologies behind them, why they're doing what they're doing. And I think that the track record of some companies and the behaviors of some companies might be a little bit more questionable than others. Yeah, for sure, Crimson. My point, Crimson, is that if you argue supply and demand, if that's the argument you want to make, okay, so there's a demand from the audience, from the consumer to buy something at a particular price point, and you make that argument. My only problem is I see a lot of people making that argument when it comes to Behringer, but then when the OP1 gets a price bump, people go like, this is evil. So you see the contradiction here. I hope you see it. OP1 price increase, if it's just a marketing, if it's a corporate thing, let's assume, let's play a mind game here. let's do a little mind game. Let's assume that Teenage Engineering just wants to make more money. Let's say that let's say that the costs for producing the OP1 went down. So they increase the price of the OP1 because they know that they can make more money. And if you say that that's bad, but then at the same time make the supply and demand argument about Behringer, it's contradictory. Because what Teenage Engineering are doing are simply raising the prices to match the demand of the market. If the market is basically what they're doing is, if this theoretical scenario is true, is that they're saying people are okay with paying $1,500 for it, so we'll increase the price to that level. Just as Behringer says, we want to produce cheap synths because we think people will be paying for that. So if you're making the supply and demand argument, if you're taking that's a pretty capitalistic stance, of course, and it's a totally okay stance to take. it's sort of contradictory to be against teenage engineering for raising the prices if the product still sells at that price, because that's what it's worth. If people buy it at that. Let me give you the simplest example. Apple raised their prices on the MacBooks and the iMacs and stuff, and people all over the internet went crazy, and they still bought it. So, if you're okay with the system, the capitalistic system, what they did was, regardless of their reasoning, was people will buy it at this price point. And people did. So if you're okay with that system, then you can't go and say, well, it's wrong because they're not allowed to make a profit, or they're not, like that doesn't compute. Then we'd have to say, then like it becomes a little contradictory to being okay with say lowering prices to meet market demands, for example. So to me, that's kind of contradictory. Yeah, so that was my take on it. Like I'm not hardcore, to be honest, guys. Like I'm not hardcore invested in any of these positions. I'm reflecting on it. I think it's an interesting discussion to have. I'm trying to read more about the market, like how the synth market works, and yeah, the business behind it. I find it very fascinating, but I also find our market behaviors, like consumer behaviors, I find them very interesting. And I see a lot of problematic, not really compatible perspectives that people have when they're arguing on the internet. Of course, this is nothing new, like we all have them, but I find it very interesting, and I might not articulate it very well. It's kind of hard to translate my thoughts in Swedish to English, and it's not my area of expertise. So Dual Track says a very interesting question. This is politics. Aren't we here to create? Why are people more interested in this idea than creative aspects of something? Yeah, that's really good. But to be honest, Dual Tracks, politics is everywhere. Politics affects people's lives, and of course people are invested in it to some extent. And like you always see, like the moral, ethical, political stuff is what triggers people the most to some extent. So I don't think it's strange that it's interesting and people are intrigued by it, for sure. So guys, I hope you found some of what I have to say valuable. I don't know. It's just kind of the stuff that's rambling on or like tumbling inside of my head at the moment, like the stuff I'm preoccupied with intellectually. So what have I missed in the chat? If it feels like I must have missed something, right? So let me just do a little self-promotion here, guys. You are the first. Everybody here on the live stream are the first to see the Bo Beats merch store. Hey Bo, when are you starting a merch store? I'm starting a merch store today. Thank you, Local Technique, for bringing it up, bringing it to people's attention. Thank you, Local. I'll send you that check later, Local. So we have a merch store. I have a merch store together with Steve Holmes. And let me just see if I can I switch over? Wait, where's OBS? And yeah, so this is the merch store here. The link is in the description as well as the chat. Steve Holmes says, hi, how can we help you? And yeah, we have a couple of different designs here, talking about selling stuff. You know, who wouldn't want to rock that? You know, damn, that's a good looking synth nerd, if I can say it myself. And yeah, of course, you need to have you do need, because this will make you more. This will increase your skills with your synths by 1,000, over 9,000. So make music, buy synths with the correct checkbox. Yeah. And of course we have my favorite, the orange one, the Bob Beats. Yeah. So I'm super happy to announce the merch. It's just a fun thing, really. It's everybody has their merch, and I thought it was kind of funny. So that's why I wanted to do it, and I teamed up with Steve Holmes, who does a lot of good stuff. So when you're supporting me through his store, you're also supporting him, and he does a lot of interesting stuff as well. So let's see here. Are you gonna have a t-shirt that says Marx was right and cost $1,000, $10,000? Yeah, that's good. That's really funny. I think that's a funny meme. That's a funny meme. And by the way, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on this stream. The little thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah. Bowbeat swag. Yeah. Let's see here. Dual Tracks. So this is really interesting. We're having some interesting conversations today. Dual Tracks says, we talked about like everything being politics, and he says, indeed, but personally, I like to know something about a brand when I'm investing a lot of money in it, but in the end, it must be about your creative moment. Sure. But to be honest, even if, to me, if a synth is produced by a company I can't get behind, it doesn't matter how much I love it or how much creativity I get out of it, I would not buy it. Like if I don't feel like I can get behind a company, I would not buy it, regardless of how well it made me feel or how good it was. Or like it's a little bit like I don't buy music from artists who I find despicable. And sorry for taking that sort of, should you judge art by the artist? And I say, well, not the art, but I would not invest in it. I would not support an artist if I thought that they were despicable or questionable, morally questionable. And that's a pretty hard stance I take, to be honest. Hey, Alex Van Luvender. Oh, great. So we have one of the winners. This is good, so people know you're not a bot, Alex. You have to tell the people here, Alex bot, issue command, praise Bowbeats for the giveaway. Issue command, praise Bowbeats for the giveaway. So they know that you're not so we can pretend you're not a bot. Alex is one of the winners in the giveaway. Great. And thank you, Alex, for getting back to me. I was waiting for you to get back to me. That's awesome. I don't have any gangster rap records, to be honest. He's totally a bot. Crimson, that's totally true. Like I'm not saying that there's a lot of reputable brands. Like I totally get that everything's like very interconnected and you don't really know who owns who in today's day and age. That's a problem. But yeah. Okay, we have the best. Seriously, I need to make a meme out of this. Jack Jackdaw says, if everyone here buys a Bowbeats t-shirt, he can buy himself an OP1. I thought that was epic. I have to tweet this. I have to tweet this from the live chat on today's ongoing live stream. If everyone here buys a t-shirt, let's see here, buys a Bowbeats. If everyone here buys a Bowbeats t-shirt, Bo can buy himself an OP1. That's funny. I thought that was funny. Yeah. This is funny. Did Alex Van Levender, one of the winners, he actually just came here and said that he was a winner, and then I joked about him being a bot. And no, he says here, lol, I'm not a bot, people. Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. That would be funny. Andrew Pierce says, I like that you have an ethical approach to purchasing. How do you manage your approach in a world where it's increasingly obtuse to know who and where and how your products are made? Well, to be honest, I don't have a good answer. Like, I haven't worked it out. It's a moral stance, but it's very hard to live it. I'm not saying that it's easy. I think I probably have a ton of things which are made unethically and under poor circumstances. But I think at least to some extent, trying to think about it is good. Like I can't. I'm definitely not one of those who said like you should only do what's right. You should only buy this and that. Like, it's not like that. But I think you should really try and at least think about it a little bit. If that makes sense. That's what a bot would say about Alex. Yeah. Previous username says, I find that most people take an ethical stand on copied merchandise, just pick and choose and don't apply that to Universal till researching all their purchases. Yeah, but previous username, I don't believe in that's a kind of a nirvana, almost like a nirvana fallacy. Just because it's hard to attain the perfect way of living doesn't mean that we should just say, anything goes. I think it's a good idea to try as best you can. And the way I do it is simply by trying to read a little bit and trying to listen to people and trying not to simply follow what everybody else is doing. And I try and just think a little bit about what I'm purchasing. And basically, when it comes to like my life, I just try and, except for maybe the studio, I try to just buy a lot of used stuff anyway. So that's one way, I think, to do it a little bit ethically sound. Yeah, Andrew. Yeah, it's a complicated question. Like I'm not a politician or politically schooled or economically schooled, so I think it's I try and lead. How do you say lead the best life I can? Live the best. I'm not sure how you say it. Previous username says, "What makes one right and the other wrong?" Then, I'm a moral relativist, I'd say. So I wouldn't say that they're absolute moral goods, truths, or I would say it's more a cognitive construct, something we made up. But I would say at least try and be sort of consistent. Try and, if you care about the environment, for example, there are certain things you can do to care about the environment. But if you don't, okay, sure. But what I'm saying is, if you're morally consistent, if you try to be morally consistent, it's very weird to shit on Teenage Engineering for doing what Behringer does. If you're okay with doing what Behringer does, like theoretically what they're doing. I'm not saying that they're doing the same thing. I'm saying that they're just part of a market which works under certain principles, and you can be annoyed with certain things like the price increase, but to make it out like it's like a big evil thing, and at the same time be okay with other companies following the same market principles, that's kind of weird to me. Strange Oscillator, I'm just going to say that I don't think he's far away from the commercial side of music market. I don't believe that, to be honest. I think it's always a little problematic when we take an artist and we say, regardless of who it is, and we say, look at this artist, look how genuine this artist is. for a certain reason. And we assume a lot of, because of the way somebody presents himself, and we assume a lot of things based on that. It's very often the case that even the most edgy or weird or strange artists that do a lot of original stuff have very large market forces behind them anyway. So I would just be a little hesitant to sort of, I mean, for example, the one you mentioned has done some collaboration with at least a couple of big brands. So it's sort of like, okay. I mean, I don't find that any way problematic, but I wouldn't say that it's somebody that's like far away from the market just because somebody does a lot of things DIY, for example. Cellric says, this is way too deep a topic for a chill Friday. Yeah, sorry guys. This kind of, yeah. But guys, so to be totally real with you all, I've made a promise. I made a promise to myself, for my own health, for my own sanity, that I will be more outspoken and clear with you, with anybody. I come from a world where I tend to listen first to others as a psychotherapist, and I tend not to want to go hard on people. Does that make sense? That's sort of my default. This have a consequence, which is that I'm also Swedish, which makes me kind of unassertive in certain areas. And I've just made the promise to myself that this year I will just be very much clearer, much more assertive about certain things, and try and be a little bit unafraid about touching certain subjects. Not because I think I have important things to say or I know any sort of truth about stuff, just because I feel like it's not good for me to hold back. Now, what some might think now is like, oh, is Bo Beats going to shit on companies and he's going to be rude or speak he's finally going to Bo Beats is finally going to speak his mind about synths and what he thinks about them. And it's like, no, I will keep doing what I've been doing. Like this, the way I present stuff is the way I want to present stuff. It's nothing behind it. It's like I'm a neutral kind of person in many ways. Like I prefer to simply observe certain things, and I prefer not to like rant about stuff too much in my videos, and I prefer not to like shit on stuff just because I don't particularly like one small aspect of something. Like I feel like it I don't really like that. But there are definitely areas where I will try and make videos where I try to point out important things that I find important, to talk real about. Like I did the video about the 25 strategies for finishing your music. And you always have the people coming there like, oh yeah, you make it so complicated. And it's like, yeah, well, people struggle with this. Like I've had 15,000, 20,000 viewers on it, and a ton of comments like people are really struggling. And I want to speak truth, like from a place of authenticity about those issues. But to be honest, like when I look at a synth or something, that's very rarely I get like triggered by some function or something like that. Why would I get upset about that? So that's not an area where I feel that I need to be more real, authentic, because I'm already authentic. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing it in a way that I like to do it. I have a pretty, like I said, pretty neutral stance in a certain ways. But there are other areas that I will definitely speak on this year more clearly, trying to be more precise. You know, if I'm ever unprecise and if I'm ever like not making sense, you guys should just tell me like, yeah, I didn't get this, or could you be more clear about certain things? just ask me and I will. That's not a problem. Yeah, so I had a question here. Let's see, it got stuck. I'm a psychotherapist. Yeah. I have a psychotherapy license and I have a teacher's license as well. So this means like, just to put it in perspective, it's like how do you say? I have like a four and a half years basic education, and then I have on university, and then I have 1.5 year more, and then 3 years more. Yeah. If you want to highlight names, Emmanuel, you use the @ symbol. @ and then start typing the name and it should pop up. If you're on a phone, I don't know how it works. Yeah, Emmanuel, it might be that I'm a little bit naive. To be honest, I'm a pretty naive guy, so that's fair, Emmanuel, maybe. But I also think maybe people are being a little bit naive when it comes to, I'm not saying you are, but I think that sometimes when it comes to moral issues, people usually take the sort of the total relativistic way out, and they're like, it's hard to know, so therefore I won't take any stance. And I think it's better to sort of have at least a baseline idea of what you think is good and bad. Let's see here. How do I psychotherapist and make music? Well, currently I work part-time with Bow Beats, and I'm home with my kids. So I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm a stay-at-home dad part-time with my kids this year. And so I took a break from all other work and I'm doing Bow Beats. Emmanuel, I get it. We can't help. Like, I totally get it. It's very hard to not do immoral things in today's market, to not support immoral actions, companies and so on. But what I'm saying is that what I'm seeing when I go into forums are people bickering and arguing about things on such a surface level that my head hurts. Like, it's like I said it on Instagram. I think it's really cool that we hype things up, that we have fun. I love that side about what we're doing. I think that's super awesome. I think we should just have fun with synths. We should enjoy it. We should be creative. It's totally cool to buy stuff just to have it. It's totally cool to just play it. You don't have to make that much with it. Like, all the good sides are really awesome. But then you have all the drama and negativity and people hating on stuff. And most of it is like very surface level argumentation and surface level ethics. And it sort of hurts my head to see it sometimes. I think people need to figure out their positions a little bit more. And this doesn't just go for the synth community. This is like a general stance I have in life. When you ask people about how, because that's my job, like one of my jobs, both as a teacher and a psychotherapist, I ask people, like, they have certain problems, and I ask them, like, what you want out of life. And they often have a ton of contradictory ideas. And that's one thing I just want to advocate strongly. And I maybe it's a pointless subject, but I think it's interesting. Yeah. Previous username. That's really good. That's really clever. Yeah, forums are always and will be full of bickering. Same 8 stereotypes are consistently found in multiple hobby concerning gear. For sure. Ivano, glad that you won the giveaway. Give me a second, Ivano. I'm just gonna double check here. Let me Give me a second here, Ivano, and I will double check. So we did a giveaway. If you guys didn't know, we did a giveaway over Christmas or the winter holidays, and let me just see here. So Ivano, you won the Arturia Analog Lab, and I sent the email today because I was waiting for Alex Van Levender, but then I sent it anyway. So I'm gonna send Alex his account to Arturia today. But my contact is somewhere in Europe at the moment, so I can't promise you when stuff is delivered. The isotope stuff is delivered. Yeah. Okay, here's a really cool question. Onto says, hey, here's a tricky question for you. How much do you think that analog and vintage renaissance is due to people in their 40s who, when they were young, couldn't afford those, and now they can now with their established jobs and salaries? Damn, hitting home hard. Now, I'm not in my 40s, though, but I'm in my 50s. No, no, but seriously, that's really cool. That's a cool question. I think it's actually very much it's very much, how you say, a timing thing. So it's a timing of two things. I think the renaissance, if you will, of hardware in general comes as sort of a response to people being in the box, and you have the entry level or more affordable things like the Volcas coming out and stuff like that, which sort of sparked interest. But then you also have an aging demographic of people, like my viewers are between like 30, 40, 50 and up. So we have a lot of people in their like mid 30s, 40s that do have stable jobs and an economy to support purchasing cool hardware stuff. I mean, I sort of wasn't that, like I was not in my 40s, but I'd been employed for like 6-7 years and saved up a little bit of money, and I started buying some hardware synth. So I sort of fit your theory, and I think that sort of goes into it. Yeah. If you were to make a video showing inexpensive gear making good music, what would that be? I would do the cat synth and get 1 million views. Yeah. No, but seriously, inexpensive gear and make good music. Yeah, that sort of relies on me actually being able to make some good music. By the way, guys, let me see here. By the way, give me a second here. Give me a second. I'm just gonna fix something real quick here. I'm gonna fix something for you all. Let me see here. Edit. Give me a second. So, I just published, I thought this would be cool to do during the stream as well. I just published a new track. So this is a new track from me, Retribution. Just published it. It's been out for patrons for a while, for a week or so. New cool track, kind of hip hop, like melodic hip hop made on the Digitact. I'm gonna make a video about the process in which I made it. It's also out, I think, on Spotify and iTunes and Apple Music as well. So Retribution is the track name. If I were to do like a video on a piece of inexpensive gear, I would probably go with something like a Volca, maybe. Yeah, maybe my Volca keys and do something around that. Yeah. Deadliner, have you been reading my Twitter? So Deadliner asks, what do you think about minimalist music production versus full-blown synth setup producing? Thanks in advance. I think I wrote about it today on Twitter. Like, I don't think there's any inherent value to either. Like, if you need and have fun with a lot of gear and you need a lot of gear to do it, uh, then yeah, go for a big studio. And if you want a minimal setup, that's cool. Like, I don't really like the term minimalist. Like, it carries a lot of baggage, if you will. I think it's like a moot point. Like, it's a non-issue. Like, if you have a problem with having too much stuff, then get rid of some stuff. If you have too little stuff, if you need stuff, buy some stuff. Like small setups versus big setups are like, I think it's how you say, it's a red herring. I think that's the argumentative problem, or the fallacy, red herring fallacy. Like, it sort of derails the conversation. It's not about stuff. JT says, some people just buy gear and never make any music, says the guilty one. I love you, mate. But I know you can make some good music, so that's cool. Yeah. Local Technique asks, did you use DistroKid to put that out? Yes. Thank you, Local Technique. Now I can bring up my sponsor, DistroKid. No, but yeah, I use DistroKid too. I'm using DistroKid for all my tracks. They're actually sponsoring like a video that's coming out soon. They're just being kind of it was kind of a natural partner since I'm actually using their service. Scott Rolden asked, non-related synth question. What's your favorite way to brew coffee and why is it Chemex? Chemex is not my favorite. I prefer V60 from Hario. Graphics, that's not the argument I'm making. I'm not making the argument that stuff is built in China and therefore evil. No, that's not the argument. The argument I'm making is that if we want to question the ethics of one company, we should probably look into the ethics of other companies, and we should have some kind of moral system to judge. So in my book, the OP1 price is not even unethical. That's just bad communications. That's it. It's like a non-issue. And what I'm trying to say is that Behringer's plagiarizing or using already established designs, if you will, ideas, if you will, that's unethical in my book. That's problematic in my book to do that. I have a very hard time swallowing that. Because if I were to say that I think it's 100% cool, then the cat is out of the, how do you say, the cat is out of the bag. Like, then why would other things where people like plagiarize or copy or borrow in ways which are kind of, it doesn't feel really well or it doesn't sit well with me, why would that be wrong? Like, why is it okay when Behringer does it, but because they're sort of catering to us? Like, that's where I'm struggling. I'm not saying like it's a hard stance. Don't think for a minute like it's like I won't ever touch a Behringer product. I've actually had in my mind to do some videos with Behringer stuff, but I'm thinking that's a part of it, like, because I'm not really interested in their clones either. So that's where I'm at. Church of Aggressive Audio, then why do hardware patents on circuits ever expire? So I think it's more, the problem I'm having more is that they're really hardcore doing like a replica of a already existing brand's products. It's not that they have the same circuitry. Let's see here. What's up? Do, 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 do. Rio Jams asks, are you interested in getting into vocal synths or vocal processing gear for your music? That's a good question. I've thought about that a lot. Like, I'd love to use my voice more in what I'm doing. I haven't found any fun way to do it, but yeah. That's something that I've considered for actually many years, but I've never really taken the plunge into any sort of like vocal, how do you say, vocal processor. I was approached by one company that was doing something really cool with the vocal processor, but I didn't have the time to check it out. But it was like a software hardware thing. Pylon asks, Bo, did you see Noir at Blank V's videos about Yexus? Now, I'm going to sound a little douchey, but I don't particularly care about this Yexus fellow. And I have a hard time caring just because others care. Because I didn't even know he existed. So no, I didn't watch it. I watch a lot of Noir's videos though. Really like them. I mean, the production quality is insane. But no, I didn't. Sakuya asks, will you do any more videos on the Soma Lyra 8? Yeah, it's sitting over there. It's definitely a synth I will be making videos about. I just haven't figured out like my angle, because it's such a weird and cool synth at the same time, and I do want to do it justice, so I'm not stressing it. Local technique, that's a good point. I honestly haven't been very into the whole 303 hardware clones either. Like, I think it's I think there are subtle differences here. If you do, I mean, ethics and morality isn't like, it's not black and white. To be honest, it's a matter of how you do it. Matty John says, hey Bo, not sure if a related question, but any tips on how to learn sound design, like the basics? Do you know any good books, etc. you could suggest? To be honest, Synthtorial, not sponsored by them in any way. I did get a license way back, but I never got around to doing anything with that license more than trying it out. Synthtorial is actually really good. This is Synthtorial here. So it's a software. It's like a learning. It's like a course where you learn to program synth sounds, basically, and it's actually, I think it's kind of cool. So I'm happy to suggest it as a resource for sure. Like it's definitely a good resource. I think dual tracks. I think I do agree with your point there. With the 303 clones, they were made like by very small companies, enthusiasts, and when Behringer comes and wants money out of it, it's not fair. What's up, Simon? What's up? Let's see here. Crimson says, do you need a course to program synth sounds? What happened to just tweaking knobs at random? That's how I learned. Yeah, sort of how I learned too. It works. Yeah. Studio Geek 32, good seeing you, mate. Church of Aggressive Audio. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Loco says, I don't think the average cash-strapped musician cares about the details. They just want gear. Yeah, sure. Yeah, graphics. That's it's a good point for sure. Adamski, good seeing you. He says, for some reason I don't get notifications about your channel. I only picked this up because I went to my account. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Man, your merch looks good, lol. Oh, thank you, T-Tech. Now, that's a good segue to posting my link again. No, wait, that's the wrong link. I just dropped a track as well to... dropped a track to Bandcamp just now. So, wait, where did my link go? I had a link. I wanted to post it, but here we go. Simon, go and pick up some merch. You need to wear it. I want to see Simon in some Bow Beats merch. I was about to do a Shill, SHILL t-shirt, but I thought it was maybe a little bit over the top. Simon is off to pick up a piano. Okay. Let's see here. I'm just gonna scroll up a bit. So what we've been doing today on the live stream, ranting about the OP1 price increase, trying to have a little conversation around that. Simon says, where's all the mad respect for suiting up to live stream? Setting standards for sure. Hot damn. Yeah, gotta be who I am. This is like what I wear to work. And I realized it's kind of comfy to wear on a stream as well. Let's see here. Let's see if I missed some interesting questions. Yeah, Simon, I'll try to... Simon, that's cool. I try to bring some... I will actually place an order for some merch. We'll place some order for some merch later today, I think. So hopefully I have a couple of t-shirts with me to the Tommen thing. Yeah. Yeah, I should do like a dinner jacket merch. How's internet speeds in Sweden? In Sweden, it's great. It's great. I have a 100 internet. What do you think about OPZ and its features? I haven't tried it much. There's plenty of other videos out there on it. Seems great. Seems like a fun toy. Yeah. Like toy in a affectionate sense. What do I think about the Wall of Kyra? Which one was the Kyra? Says a lot. Says a lot that I can't... That I don't know what it is from hearing about it. But just the name. The Kyra. Was that the one that they said, it looks like a virus, but nobody knew how to make it sound in NAM? And like nobody knew how to tweak it? Let's see here. This one. Yeah? This is the Kyra, yeah? Wasn't this the one that they had on NAM and they showed it and people were like, and the demo guy, he couldn't demo it properly or something? I'm not sure. Or am I confusing it? Studio Geek, no. That's a good question. The music review streams are probably not coming back for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I don't really have time. Number two, copyright issues. And number three, I didn't really. I enjoyed the community aspect, but I didn't really. I felt it was a little bit. Yeah, it wasn't really where I wanted to place my energy, to be honest. Okay, yeah. Cellrock says no. That's the one. They didn't have factory presets, so now they show they didn't have factory presets at NAMM, so the demo guy had to make some of the spot. Yeah. Rio Jams asks, do you foresee the Minilog XD as the best synth of 2019? I'm actually looking forward to it. Yeah, I do. I think it could be up there as one of the best, for sure. Flash Too Hard says, hi Bo, have you a job besides making music and YouTube, or is it a full-time job? So at the moment, I'm trying to transition actually to doing YouTube more like a full-time thing. So I'm working pretty much, to be real guys, I've been working probably full-time with YouTube for about a year. And then I've had like a part-time job beside that, because it does take a lot of time. But yeah, I'm transitioning, and this year I actually am on parental leave part-time from my other job. So I'm a university teacher and a psychotherapist. So I'm on parental leave from that, and I'm doing YouTube about part-time, like 50-60% of my time. But in reality, it's of course a lot more. So that's why it's awesome if you guys wanna pick up some Bo Beats merch or become a patron, patron. The links is in the description, because it does help out a lot when you guys support what I'm doing here. Let's see here. Who's watching the baby? Today is a Bo Beats day. So today the mummy, my wifey, is watching the children. I have a son and a daughter. Let's see here. Wait, how long have we been live streaming? God damn it. You guys, this was supposed to be a family-friendly chill coffee stream where we just hung out and talked some geeky stuff for about an hour. And now I've been rambling about OP1 and politics and shit like that for 2 hours or something, it feels like. Yeah. I blame you guys. You brought it up. I didn't. Here's a funny question. Maxens Schneider asks, do your students know about your YouTube channel? Yeah. Fortunately / unfortunately, they do. Like it does give me like a little plus. I'm kind of, I don't seem too old. Like it seems like I'm a little down with what the kids are doing, but it's also sometimes a little funny. And you could probably hear my son; he's crying in the background. But don't worry, the mum is with him. Nobody warned Bo about the dangers of the internet. Crimson says, the time you've been rambling about the OP1 is considerably shorter than the time it takes Teenage Engineering to do tech support, which is never. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah. What do you teach? I'm a teacher too. We have off for winter break this week in New York. Hey, cool. Yeah, I'm a teacher at the university, so I teach educational science. So leadership, group processes, conflict management. Yeah, basically psychology stuff. Christian Wontroba asks, what thing in nature life generally sparks your creative output aside from the spark you get from interaction with gear? Love your stuff. Thanks for being here. So yeah, what sparks my my creativity in general? To be honest, I think interesting conversations. With people. And I'm not talking like, it doesn't have to be super deep. Like I can truly enjoy like talking just with just about anybody, as long as they're engaged in a conversation with me. I can find inspiration there. Some people, they travel the world and they want to see different places and they need to quote unquote find themselves and stuff like that, or they just enjoy seeing the different cultures and everything. And I've traveled a lot when I was younger, but I never did the whole like I need to travel after like when I'm in my 20s, because I always found people where I lived to be very fascinating and interesting to talk to. Like there's so much to find and enjoy and see right here. I don't feel like I have to go across the world to see it, if that makes sense, to get inspired. Like it's fun now. It's fun. I'm traveling more now because of the YouTube channel, and it's fun because it's opening me up to a lot of new things as well. And I feel like I'm in a good place to really learn from it now. But when I was younger, I just felt there was so much to learn from conversations with just people around me, and yeah. Studio Geek is a long-term follower for sure. Vartan the Great. What did you ask, Vartan? Analog 4 or Digitone? So Vartan the Great asks Analog 4 or Digitone. I would say, damn, that's hard. If you really want to make like pad sounds, I would say Digitone. If you can do without like big pads, I would say the Analog 4 is probably a little bit more of a favorite of mine. Okay, so Flash to Heart says, I'm planning to buy an Electron Rhythm MK2. Is there something you can say about the stability? So I want to preface this with saying that I am aware that there are build quality issues with the Rhythm 2 for some people. It's very hard. Some people say, why don't you comment on that? You shill, why don't you comment? Like it's very hard to keep up with every single issue with every single product, and also to ascertain whether or not it's like a localized problem or it's a general problem. But with the Rhythm MK2, it's the fact that sometimes people have issues with the pads. They're lighting up and they don't respond properly. That's one issue I've seen with it. Wait, what was the other issue? Was that the main issue? I think so. The pads not responding properly. Now, I haven't had problems with that myself, but yeah. I haven't had like, yeah. So freezes. Now, some people say that that's been addressed with firmware updates. Now, the problem is I haven't had those issues. So it's very hard for me to say like, yeah, that's an issue for everybody. So I would maybe look it up on Electronauts and see what people are saying. Maybe ask a question there, like how do people feel about stability about now? Because a lot of things that people have been nagging about have been addressed in firmware updates, I believe, some of the stability issues. There was also like a heating thing. I've actually had mine on just to test the heating issues. I had mine running for a pretty long while in my warm studio in the summer when I was testing a case. So I was testing out this case for the Analog Rhythm. I don't think it's sold anymore. It's like a really beautiful wooden case, but I was afraid that it would heat up the unit too much. So before I promoted it, I actually tested it. I had my running, like playing a loop, and I played it for, I don't know, a couple of hours, and it didn't crash or didn't have any issues. And I tried doing like different chaining and stuff like that, so it didn't get too warm or anything. And this was in the summer, mind you, or yeah, it must have been it was in summer, so it was pretty warm. But yeah, so I would just look it up. Yeah. Lloyd, good seeing you, mate. Let's see, did I miss anybody else? David is here as well. David asks, what do you think about the Roland Boutique series? Like, there's a couple of really nice Roland Boutiques that I enjoy. I have the SE01 is called, yes, SE1. I never SEO2. Yeah, I forget the name all the time. Like, I confuse it with the So, and that one I think is the most underrated one. That's why I asked Roland to send one over, because I thought it was like really interesting. As for some of the others, I don't particularly like the drum machines that much. I don't really see like the unique selling point. But the synths I think are cool and seems to be pretty okay priced. Jump on the Roof says, I know my Rhythm MK2 has been rock solid. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, mine has been fine too. Like, no problems. Yeah, Adamski, you were watching my video on the SEO2. It's not a review though, but yeah, it's kind of a first look thing. Jump on the Roof says, I think the D05 is the only one that works in a tiny form factor. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Would you be so kind to give the measurements of the size of the keys of the M32? Hold my coffee. Let me see here. Okay. Let me see. Do I have like a measuring stick? Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is some, I want you to sign up on Patreon later, because this is some quality service you're getting here. I have my measurement stick here. Here's the M32 here. Let's see here. Wait, which is which? I'm always confused about this. This is centimeters. So it's about, one of the keys are about, they are pretty much exactly 2 centimeters. And in, wait, it's the other way, yeah? Right? I'm super confused. Like, I never use a measuring stick. Isn't it supposed to be inches on one side? Super confused. Anyway, so yeah. 2 centimeters, right? Yeah. Yep. 2 centimeters. And travel distance is about 1 centimeter. 1.1 or something. Yeah, and don't quote me on this, because me and like measuring stuff, like I'm total imbecile when it comes to that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know how this works. Tommerstock, Dr. Phelps. Regular old Tommerstock. Tumstock, yeah. Someone asks for measurements and Bo delivers. So great. In which way is the model sample smaller than the Digitakt? It seems wider. Wait, where is it? Let me see. You know what? Welcome to the Bo Beats measuring channel. Let me go and see here. Okay. So here we go. So this is the size difference here. So you can see that it's got some hair on it. Away. Yeah, so you can see that it's quite a lot wider, but if we put them over each other, you'll note that the Digitakt is just a slight bit taller. Is that the way you say it? Taller, yeah. And if you talk thickness, this is way thicker. Now, somebody want me to compare the size of the Matrix Brute with the model? Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, hi Dr. Valps. Good seeing you. Let's see here. Noel Lehman says, hey, yo, Bo, where's this merch link? I'm clicking about like a loon. So, if you go to the description of the video, there is a Bitly link. And I'll just, you know what? Thank you for bringing this up. You're not a bot. He's not a bot, I promise. So this is the link to the Bow Beats merch. You guys are the first to see it. We dropped it today. You've gone from eating synths to measuring them. Yeah. Bot confirmed. Yeah. So if anybody watching doesn't know, I'm dropping some merch today because I'm cool, like the kids, you know. And yeah, I wanna be cool, a cool kid. So I'm dropping some merch together with Steve Holmes, who is the designer who's made the graphical intros for this channel. You know, the one with the little synth and stuff like that. So we're dropping the merch, and yeah, I hope you guys pick some up. That would be cool. Not just for me, because it also supports Steve a bit and his store, and I really want his store to succeed. So that'd be cool. Let's see here. I'm just gonna check here. Check. Am I missing something? No. Oh, and if you didn't know, we finished up the giveaway, and yeah, pretty much all prizes are being sent out. I just have Alex, who was here earlier, who didn't respond to my email. He said he has responded now, so that should be taken care of. And the things that I'm giving away that I have here, my little signed pocket monotron delay is here. It's going to be shipped off early next week. The PO33 new one, and this cable here to Sackler is going to be shipped off as well. So that's gonna be cool. Yeah. Check it out shirt. Check it out. Yeah. Check it. That's a good shirt design for sure. Jump on the roof. So if you guys watching here, if you are picking up the merch, I'm just gonna drop it again. Sorry. If you are picking up the merch, I'd love it if you kind of tagged me on Twitter or on Facebook or somewhere and just made me aware, put up a little photo with you on the merch, and then maybe I could use it in a video or something, or I could make a little community post about it. That would be cool. Just kind of, it's really cool just seeing and connecting with all of you and seeing what you're doing. And the same goes if there's any giveaway winners here that want to kind of tag me in a post or something. That'd be cool. Just, I think it's really good. I think it's cool. Would love to see it. Kind of love to see what you're doing with the stuff that you won from the giveaway as well. So yeah. Yeah, the winners of the giveaway got announced. It's over on Facebook. I showed it earlier. We had, let me just show you. I put up a post on Facebook here. Winners of the Bow Beats giveaway. So everybody's listed here. Of course, everybody accepted that I would be listing them publicly when they were entering the giveaway. And yeah, so I think already the Isotope has sent out the ozone or neutron stuff to the people who won that. And I know that HOSA, everybody's been contacted, all the companies have been contacted, but of course it can take a little while to get it all sorted out. And in the meanwhile, you can check out the Bow Beats merch. No. Yeah, so that's that. I'm so confused with streaming from my Mac still. I need to do more. When are you going to get a Deckard's Dream? Oh man, that would be cool. That would be cool, yeah. That'd be cool. Okay, guys. Yeah. I feel like we've live streamed enough. Like my idea here is, yeah. My idea here is to live stream more on Fridays. Fridays will probably be like the live stream day. Yeah, Sean, I've considered selling like stickers as well, for sure. But it's yeah. I need to talk to Steve. I'll probably sell it via his store, if anything. But yeah, the idea will be to The idea will be to live stream on Fridays. That's probably the day that I have most time to live stream. And I'll probably try and keep it pretty casual, kind of hanging out, answering questions and stuff like that. I realize that it's hard for me right now to really commit to some more like structured content for the live stream at the moment. So thank you everybody for hanging out, for indulging me, and I'm glad that you've been here. Been awesome to have you as always. Thank you for the support on the videos. If you haven't checked out the video I dropped today, it's on the M32, and I'm teasing some patches from an up and coming synth that I'm working with a company to make some patches for it. So yeah. Eventually the live stream will evolve into just complaining about company practices. Well, hopefully not, Complaining is perhaps not really my forte, but yeah. So yeah, thank you for hanging out, and enjoy the rest of your day. Try and go and be creative, enjoy yourself, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk sometime later. And of course, check out the merch. Check out the merch. You want to check out the merch. Check it. Smash that like button. Exact local. Yeah. So guys, thank you so much. I'm going to try and see where the off button is here. And here comes the outro. With the